Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 509. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
I am vengeance.
And Tony Korkanakis.
I'm Batman.
Yep.
Mike, I really wanted you to say I'm vengeance because I could have gone, I am the knight.
Yeah.
And then Tony could have finished it all. Come on.
As you guys hear, we've been discussing the Batman, which we will go into here. We have DC Fandome happened. And we're going to get into that tonight. That is our topic. So we're getting to that in a little bit. First, welcome guys, welcome listeners and viewers to 509 of the Moviecast. Man, get up there more. We're still climbing. God, get to 1,000 in like another decade. It's not even a decade. Oh, it is a decade, yeah. But geez, I'll be almost 50. Ooh.
Jeez, man. Spoilers.
Yep. Yeah. Anyways, guys, like I said, we had that bit of news. Let's get into what we've been up to. Myself, it's been a busy week last week, but I was able to finish High Score Girl. Yes, Tony, I did it. Despite the comfort shows, I wanted to watch, and I did watch a bunch of that stuff, like the older, like The Office and all that stuff. I was like, you know what? I've got 3 episodes left of this show. Let's watch it. And so I sat down, I watched all 3. I love the nostalgia part of the like when he's like, I don't want to give away the ending, I guess, but there's so many callbacks to game characters near the ending of that series. I thought that was hilarious.
Right.
So yeah, it was good. It turns out to be okay. I mean, okay show, good show, a little bit lovey-dovey, but the nostalgia video game aspect of it was so good. Which then brings me into High Score, which is the new Netflix series, which I didn't get to finish the episode, but mostly through the Atari, the dawn of Atari, like Space Invaders. I got to watch that.
Did you just started with one, or you just skipped to like one that you thought was interesting? I
just started with whatever was trending. I just hit the play button, so it's the first one, I guess. Because I heard there was a Nintendo one, which I didn't actually get. I didn't get to see, but I heard that was actually really good. Except it didn't really cover
like a Genesis one. There's like a Mortal Kombat Street Fighter one.
Oh, cool. No, I just started with Atari. Figured start with the beginning, and it was cool. Like, they interviewed the guy who did the ET game. He's like, yes, I did the ET game. Yeah, which is the worst game of all time. And I will admit it to everybody, and it's tough, but I will do it. And then they interviewed the guy who did Space Invaders was a really cool story. So it's a cool show. I've heard that the Nintendo one doesn't go in depth enough. Like, you want more detail, and especially a lot of these other ones, like maybe the Street Fighter one, they just don't get into enough detail.
Yeah, so I watched the whole series just to step in.
Good.
It's only like 6 of them, right?
Yeah, 6 episodes, but I mean they're an hour long each.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, 40? I thought it was 50.
Well, 42.
Oh, maybe whatever.
Maybe episodes are different. Anyway, it's more than 30. Max it out.
Yeah.
But they do a really good job of just a high-level overview of some early aspects of the video game industry. It kind of cuts off. It starts with the Atari, goes through the Nintendo, and the Genesis, and a little bit of the PC, and it kind of just stops right there. So I think they leave the door open for a sequel to explore like the second and third generations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they go through how arcade games even came about to be. The Atari boom and bust, and the Nintendo revolution, and they briefly touch upon like Sega's entry with the Genesis or the Mega Drive from Japan. They have the guy from that book Console Wars, Tom Kalinske, who's like pretty much the guy responsible for Sega, taking off. And again, just high level stuff, but they definitely are true to history, or the book in that case. So I would say anybody's interested in it, definitely check it out, and then you could dive deeper into it and stuff like that. But other than that, they also have an episode dedicated to RPGs. They even cover Dungeons and Dragons.
You should watch the whole thing. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch to watch. There's I thought it was gonna be all tabletops RPGs. Like, oh wait, I thought it was video game stuff. And I was like, oh wait, no, it's
right. It starts off with that, and then how it's jumped to computer games with Ultima and stuff like that, and then they jump over to how Squaresoft at the time wanted to make an RPG based on that with Final Fantasy, and I'm sure a lot of the big wig AAA companies, they couldn't do formal interviews because there's probably a lot of like NDA, like we don't talk about stuff. But they had Amano, who's one of the original artists for Final Fantasy, or the original artist for Final Fantasy, and
the iconic one at least.
Yeah, they do his interview in his house. So it's just like, damn, dude, like you live. Obviously, he's really rich dude, but it's really cool seeing that. But they have an episode on fighting games, how it started with Street Fighter 2, go into the Mortal Kombat boom, and then the controversy surrounding like the violence, stuff like that. And they have the episode dedicated to first-person shooters and how Wolfenstein 3D and Doom came out and stuff like that. So really cool just to see like, and subsequently they have a fighting game on the cover, esports just lightly there and stuff like that. But just really cool seeing like a high-level overview of the video game industry from like a historical perspective, not just like, oh yeah, video games are made and people buy. So,
yeah, no, definitely. I saw some of that stuff too, and I kind of just jumped around. I was like, oh, this one looks cool. I'm gonna go check that one out. Like I didn't feel like it was like I need to go through it in order, but I was just to add to that. I think that it's cool because like you get the Console Wars book that came out and the Schreier book that we love that stuff, and I love like learning about the things that maybe you don't necessarily think about or know of, like, oh, this little tidbit here and this little tidbit there. It's like, oh, that's how that came out, or that's why this happened, or things like that. And that's what these things are. This is great. Is like people are taking a more serious look at it and giving us more documentation of the history of it, not just be like, yeah, those are video games that melt your brain and whatever, they're bad for you. So,
yeah,
it's cool.
It was really cool because you still learn some stuff even from like not like reading those books. So one of the things that Tom Clancy was going off about was like, he's like, we gave out Genesis systems to college guys and gave them free games and said, hey, all you got to do is go around campus, bring your Genesis and the controllers, and just start playing games in the frat houses and stuff like that. And we'll just keep sending you games and stuff like that. So like that's all people did. And he's like, and it worked. It worked great. It was word of mouth and stuff like that. And they go off into the Sega,
pre-streamer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then they go into the
influencers,
the Sega competition. They cover the Nintendo competition, and then they cover the Sega one. And they have an interview with the guy who won the Sega championships, and he's talking about how he like routed with his like gang, like the best Sonic routes and stuff like that, and like coin or rings and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, like even back then people were like analytical about this stuff. Like he even had like hand cam footage of, he's like, oh, that's my brother, he's just testing out a couple different routes, and like there's the Genesis hooked up to like this really mini portable TV because it wasn't even in the hotel room at the time. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
So, the mini portable TV that was probably like that long.
It's like a boom box.
Exactly.
Oh wow. No, it's cool. I gotta watch the rest of that.
I hope they do a second season. So
yeah.
There's so much you can tap into, really, that it's
been pretty popular in terms of conversation, and that's what Netflix loves. It. So yeah.
One other thing I want to talk really quick about, because Jim, you're a big Star Fox fan. Did you know that the way they even came out, and this is a little spoiler, was that these two guys, or this one guy from Britain, hacked the Game Boy, and he was like, you know what? I want to do 3D graphics on the Game Boy. So he did it, and then somehow Nintendo LTD in Japan found out about it, and so his company that he worked for at the time, I think it was Argonaut Games or whatever like that, they were like, oh shit, they might shut this down because we're making a game for a hacked system, stuff like that. And they're like, you guys can do 3D on Game Boy? We don't believe you. Come out to Japan and prove it then. So him and his boss fly out to Japan, present it in front of like 30 Nintendo dudes, and they're like, okay, we want to sign you guys up to make a game, not just for the Game Boy. And then Miyamoto came out with the prototype SNES. He's like, here's something we're working on, and like showed him like a prototype of like what would wind up being Star Fox. And it's like
yeah,
just to think
that's awesome.
It happens, yeah.
I mean, the Space Invaders part for me, like I watched this morning, like I said, that's a fresh one. So like that whole story was hilarious. Like just it's amazing. In the 70s, the way that worked was like one guy made this game. Like he's just like, he's like, I really liked the what's it called? The breakout or whatever it was, the knock the ball around.
Single player pong.
Yeah. Single player pong. He liked that a lot, but he wanted to make it a little more interactive. And So he came up with this story of an octopus was going to invade, and he's like, that didn't make any sense. And then they did tanks, and they did people, and he's like, and that was really wrong. And so then he's like, so then Star Wars playing in the United States at that point. So we went to space, and we started to play with droids, and then we ended up settling on aliens. He's like, so the only reason why that really exists is because he likes that game and he liked Star Wars and stuff. So it was like, it was kind of cool how that morphed into what it did. But it was one guy doing this whole thing, and now you think about the teams that you have in these games. Oh, it's just crazy how big these games are.
And that's the other part I would really say is so cool about this series, because like the people that do, because in the FPS one they interviewed John Carmack,
Cool.
And in the episode with the Nintendo guys that work on Star Fox, they explained the inspiration of how it even came about to be like on rails 3D shooter instead of like just a free-forming thing, and how they even came across like the actual animal characters of Star Wars, which I didn't even know until like I watched this. I was like,
see, I know that's
you got to watch it.
That's gonna be infinitely more interesting than the Atari for me, because that was before me. But I'm just gonna start from the beginning, so I will watch this whole series.
I mean, it's interesting to watch like the history of video games, regardless of you know.
I love the stories behind it. You get those behind the scenes stories.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was saying. Like, I was watching, I watched SummerSlam, and I'm not in the big wrestling mode right now, but I watched it because it was on pay-per-view. And it was not only that, but they actually hit my card because I forgot to cancel. So I'm like, well, we're watching SummerSlam. So we watched it. But then I watched after that was
24 or something
for WrestleMania. Yeah, so the WrestleMania thing, where it was all behind the scenes from these wrestlers, and how they had these dreams about, in front of 80,000 screaming people, and then they told the story of COVID hitting, and it's like, it was a really, really cool documentary with all these wrestlers and how their stories changed, and how the story changed for their characters while this was going on. Like Braun Strowman was not even there. He was when he drove all the way home 20 hours. And then they called him and said, we're going to need you to come back because we lost Roman Reigns because of the COVID. He didn't want to wrestle. So he had to go and drive all the way back. And it was pretty interesting. But
I have to give it to them. Like, they actually have some really good documentaries, like the Untold stuff too, Jim. I'd recommend the Triple H one with Mick Foley. Right. That's really good.
I heard that was good. This was really good because, like, at the you got basically to watch a little bit of their matches from WrestleMania, and then you got, because they weren't filmed in front of fans, you got to see like the cut scene and then the post scene where they're out of their character and they're back to their normal people, and they're just both emotionally like loving what they just pulled off, and they're like congratulating each other, and they were just beating the shit out of each other, and it's just like the way they just you get to see that. I just love that. Like, and that's why I was like, same thing. I'm obviously with video games, same idea. That's what I mean. Like those behind the scenes stories about how the finished product gets to the screen, I just love. So, it's very interesting. Like other than that, for me, it was mostly all like just different comfort shows. Kid in King Arthur's Court. Do you remember that with the guy from of the Year?
Yeah.
Did you know that Daniel Craig was in that?
No.
And Kate Winslet. Both really young.
Legit.
So I watched.
Legit.
Yeah, watch that, and then the Three Musketeers, the Disney one with
nice.
Chris O'Donnell. Yep, watch those.
Kiefer, is that Kiefer in that?
And Kiefer Sutherland, yep.
What's
Tiger's Blood's in it. So I watched those shows, but that's really it for me. Tony, anything else that you want
to? I watched this Netflix show. I think it was broadcast in the UK, but the Netflix brought it over. It's called I think Heiji or something like that. It's a Japanese word for like honor and something else, but it's basically about this Japanese detective who suddenly gets pulled into like this like pseudo gang war and stuff like that, and he finds out that his brother, who he thought was dead after going to the Yakuza industry, is suddenly alive. So it's about him trying to get his brother out before his brother gets killed in a Yakuza gang fight and stuff like that. So he goes to London to retrieve his brother and just gets caught up in all this shenanigans and stuff like that. But it's pretty interesting. So it's obviously a drama and stuff like that. But it's got like I said, really weird mixes. Like he meets a lot of these English, British actors and characters and interacting with them, and then they'll cut over to Japan and whatever. It's interesting. A lot of people die, but Yakuza. So I expect that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Okay. All right. Corey?
Just more Lucifer. I've been trying to go through it again before I watch the fifth season, because that's out on Netflix now.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm,
Came out Friday, right? Came out Friday.
Yeah, it came out, last week. I'm almost done with 4, so like I'll be able to get into 5.
Cool. Yeah. Mike, what else have you been watching? I watched something else. I just remember. But go ahead, Mike.
Nothing.
Okay.
Fandome.
I watched Lower Decks from the CBS All Access, which is the Star Trek cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really good. It's really good. It's, oh my God, it's really good. It is like a comedy, but like in the Star Trek universe, and it works. It's like, it's so cool to watch. I was like, oh my God, this is what's going on when you're watching the bridge and you watch the Star Trek, you watch those main characters, and then you have all these underlings down in the sub decks, no idea what's going on. This is what's going on with them. So, and it's
cool.
like a different
like
class of different. Yeah, it's like a class system, and it was really cool how they did that. And so I'm enjoying that. And in fact, they offered me 20% off for the next 3 months for CBS All Access, and I signed back up.
All these streaming services are getting you.
Yeah, well, when you give me 20% off, it's $4.50 a month. I'm like, okay, I'll pay you guys that for this.
$4.50 a month, you can't really beat that. That's
as long as you got stuff you want to watch. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, and I got this, and then I got Star Trek coming back at the end of September. So,
so might as well keep it.
Yeah. There you go. So, whoops. Yeah, my arm just fell off the chair. All right, so that's really it. So let's get into this. The news here. We have just some small bit of. I don't even have it open, unfortunately. Sorry, everybody. I'm out of practice here.
The box office happened, actually. Did you guys see
that?
Do
we actually have a box office? No. Oh, that was hilarious. I did see, because I still browse the box office Reddit, because I'm like, what do they even talk about? So those people are like
old years, like old data. Yeah. That's what I saw.
Well,
like,
they were talking about
this weekend.
It's all about like exactly. It's like this time last year, or on this date in 1984.
Yeah. So they were talking about like streaming services and stuff, but yeah, Project Power is that opening? Streaming. Where's your? They don't even have the box office on Rotten Tomatoes. What was the box office looking like? I know it looked like Empire Strikes Back was on there, Goonies was on there. There were some crazy movies that were on there. The one movie that actually opened at 4 million though, which is pretty impressive. I can't remember what it was, and I don't have it in front of me. So let's see, box office. Let me see if I can get it. It's Box Office Mojo, right?
Yeah.
Unhinged, right? That's it. Yeah, Unhinged opened at 4 million. So that was impressive. And then the rest of it's hilarious. Like the rest of it is. Can you imagine?
You could get it to double digits with New Mutants, man. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's possible. Like, can you imagine if you showed this list like a year ago to somebody saying, "Here's your August box office for this week," and it's Unhinged at 4 million, and then SpongeBob the movie at 550, Words on Bathroom Walls, The Goonies, Cutthroat City,
550,000, right? It's 550,000.
550,000. Yeah. Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back, Jurassic Park's number 8, Back to the Future's number 9.
That's timeless. Jurassic Park is timeless.
I know, but could you imagine show something like this last year, August last year? You say, listen, here's your next year's weekend.
Dude, not even like last year. Just think about like February. Like.
Oh, I know. Well, the top grossing movie this year is, I can't remember it. It's ridiculous what it is, but so yeah, we're gonna have a box office next week though, because New Mutants is opening, guys. It's there. It's not here.
Like I said, I think it hits 10 million. I don't know. It could do it.
No
I think it could.
No way.
I think it can make them. I agree with Corey. I think it could, because there's nothing. People are. You know what? If there was a single moment for this movie to almost to rise above and be.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll obviously be number one. I'm not saying I don't think that's successful. I don't.
No, I mean 10 million. Come on,
I'm trying to hype
we're
it up,
like
man.
talking about this was actually supposed to come out. Like if COVID didn't hit and this was actually coming out in real time, we'd be talking like, oh, is this even gonna make 30 million, right?
Yeah.
But now it's the only thing. It is the only thing.
Oh man.
And like we're talking about 10. Like
I think it can do 10 because Tony, are theaters open in Pennsylvania, like actual theaters or just drive-ins?
Just
okay, so we're all on the same boat over here. Nothing's happening here. And by the way,
why I just don't see it.
Fucking Chris Nolan just said that he's not allowing drive-in movie theaters to air the movie if theaters aren't open in their area.
Well, if it's not playing in a theater, yeah.
If it's not playing in a theater,
if the theater can't actually play it, then you can't play it.
I was going to drive. I know. I was going to drive to the Pennsylvania has the drive-in theater over. Was it Stroudsburg or is it?
Yeah,
there's a drive-in over there. Yeah, there's a drive-in over there, and I was going to drive there to watch Tenet. I'd be like, I'd go to drive-in and watch Tenet, but I can't even do that. Thank you, fucking Chris Nolan. So.
Well, thank you, COVID.
It's
Well,
okay
yeah.
because of him. When it opens up internationally, people are just gonna record it illegally, and I'll just download it and watch it that way.
No, I mean, yes, obviously COVID is the major problem, but
He's
this should
not
be streamed.
helping.
For,
Sure.
COVID is one of them, and his ego is the other. So it's like,
the fact that he didn't release his streaming, okay, I get it. You want to do that, but come on, let me drive an hour and a half to see a freaking drive-in movie. I would do it right now.
He likes the big surround sound stuff.
The spectacle.
Sure, he can like whatever he wants to like. That's fine. He can still be called an asshole for it.
I had this whole trip planned for myself because Warwick up in New York State actually has a drive-in theater as well. It's one of the last ones. I was like, okay, there's an awesome brewery up there. So I'm like, I could do like this trip and go up there. I could go see the movie. I could go get some beer, come back home. And I can't even do that now thanks to Christopher Nolan. So that's why I'm upset right now. So
Two birds for you, Mr. Nolan.
Yeah. Chris Nolan, you have been demoted to Zack Snyder status.
Whoa. All right.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's two different types of ego.
Yeah.
It's just like the dude bro, like frat guy, alpha male, like.
It's bad ego. It's just both. It's
bad ego. It's different types of bad ego.
Yeah, it is. But it's like they're both equally.
And I would say at least Christopher Nolan. Like, I'm not saying anyone deserves to be like that, but like, he has a little bit higher pedigree than Zack Snyder does.
Yeah,
I would say so. Like, at least his movies are good.
Right.
I mean, not that. We'll see. I mean, we'll talk about some stuff later on.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that fandom. Mike's chomping at the bit for it. I had the Powerpuff live action TV show reboot, which I listen. I watched Powerpuff Girls when it first came out on Cartoon Network. Yeah. I did. Oh yeah, hilarious show. That's the kind of show you could put on. I remember this is like a drinking story again. I'm talking about beer, but I would go over to Buddha's house. We were a little older then, obviously. We were drinking, and you could put that on the TV, huh? Well, we were older to actually drink. Yeah, younger, but old enough to drink. We're not drinking illegally here. I went over to Buddha's house, and we threw on Powerpuff Girls. And you watch that. You have some drinks, and
I never heard that story.
Yeah, we used to have that on. Like, we always have that on in the basement room.
Nick has never mentioned about this story.
Ask Nick about Powerpuff Girls. Listen, nothing bad. It's just
I know. It's just funny. It's like
one of the best episodes.
We just drank and watched Powerpuff.
Yeah. But you could
during the day.
Put it on the TV. You can shoot the shit, and you can have a drink, and we can put Powerpuff. You can play beer pong while you're watching Powerpuff Girls. It's like it's a weird combination, but it may have happened. So it's a story for you all. All right, DC Fandome.
Let's go. Gotta get into teleport me into the fandom. Ouch.
Game side of stuff. We will cover that in the Gamecast. For those who are going to wait for those games, we will talk about the Gotham Knights.
Spoiler alert. Ooh.
And whatever the hell we saw from
Rocksteady.
Yes. So we'll get into that during the Gamecast. First, this is Fandome. The event happened. I was not home in time for Wonder Woman, which had the trailer, and so I missed that panel. But
did you watch the encore of it?
I didn't watch the panel. No, I didn't watch the encore. So I saw the trailer though. I didn't watch any of the encore for this, actually. I watched all of the ones I wanted to watch panel-wise. Mm-hmm. This event, I want to say, like, I thoroughly enjoyed this event. Like, I really think this was a great online convention. Like, the other one, like, Comic-Con seemed very chaotic. Didn't have a lot of panels I wanted to see. This had a lot of panels. This had a lot of interesting stuff. They
did a great job, and I think they learned they learned how to put something together and put it out there, and yeah, it was good. So, like, it was easier to navigate also because you knew what to expect.
Go ahead.
So officially on the record now, you're conceding your bet to me, right? Okay.
Yes, I am. I was waiting for that moment. I'm like,
was it the only? I felt like we had a double bet on this, but I don't know.
Did we?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I wouldn't have doubled down against two of you. We may have gone 2v2, but I know that Tony and I were talking about there's no way they're going to have this kind of a thing this year, and I'm shocked that they did this well. In fact, where's Marvel's version of this? Like, Marvel should be doing this. Like, this was a great opportunity, and I think DC.
Well, they have their D23, which they could kind of tie into that, right? They should have done that.
They should have, yeah. But like, this is a lot of good publicity for DC, and they need that. I mean, listen, make the like they don't have a great product. They have some good movies. They have some real shit movies, and like it always seems disjointed and not a clear path. And I think having this event, I think it was really cool to see. Like oh my God, they're.
It got you excited. I feel like it definitely got you excited for what DC has to offer going forward. I'm trying to let him come back.
They got him.
Yeah.
It
Can't
was
talk
good.
good about
Again,
DC.
I figured that if there was a double bet, I might have been on the other side because I figured everyone would be on their own time frame without being forced to do something like Comic-Con. And I guess this kind of was because it's very late in the summer. But
when we heard Comic-Con was canceled, I mean, it's absolutely happening. There's gonna be like releases, like announcements in this, direct stream fashion. I definitely think that was gonna happen, no matter. Like it's lended too well to it. Like you had to do it.
It was
direct.
It was definitely good that they sort of consolidated a bunch of stuff into one event. I didn't really watch too much.
Okay, so not gonna lie here, we apologize for the interruption and the splice here. Obviously, there will be a splice. I have bad storms, I guess, but there's no storm. Lost power.
Only one person lost power.
Yes, I lost power, and strangely enough, it continued to record you guys after I dropped the call, which was really weird. But anyways, we were talking about DC Fandome and how cool the event that they actually got to have. Guys, so yeah, like I said, I am so happy that they did this, and I'm very impressed, and did not think it was, obviously, I bet Tony, I did not think this was going to happen. But it's very impressive that they pulled this off, and it was fun. Like, I had excitement, and
it was something to look forward to. Like, I think we've really been starving for something to look forward to. It's like, I don't know if that made everything else seem better. Like, I don't know if that is like we have this like handicap for it now. But
I mean, it could hit at the right
the bar's
moment.
So low.
Exactly. But like we have nothing to compare it to now, though. It's like
exactly. So I mean, Mike, did you watch
started off?
Yeah. I didn't watch any of the panels really, aside from a little bit on the video game side. What I did see of them was pretty cringy. So I just kind of got the actual trailers and stuff, and went from there. I don't care about the panels, honestly.
I did watch the Wonder Woman cast play Werewolf, Wonder Woman 84. So that was quite bad. They're really bad at that game. But they played Werewolf, and they lost real bad to the villains. That was kind of interesting.
You got Robin right. Like, you can't trust that woman. She's a villain.
No, she was the villain, and nobody got her at all. It was holy shit.
Just watching House of Cards, you can't get these.
They killed the superhero like second turn.
First guy out.
First turn. It was first turn. That's right. Killed the superhero. Yeah. So
but Wonder Woman trailer. That was the first thing. That was the big thing because it actually showed. We got to see Cheetah in this, and I was like, it is really dark. Like what?
Honestly, of everything on the movie side, that was probably the least impressive, I think.
I was really looking forward to seeing what they were going to do with Cheetah, and I was disappointed. And this was a movie that was supposed to already be out, right? So, like, how the effects look as poor as they did?
That's what I was shocked from. Like, I'm like, they haven't shown her yet. And then you told me that they had some shots with her. So I'm like, okay. So I watched that after I watched all the events. And I was like, man, Mike, you're right. I mean, as much as I want to, like, defend Wonder Woman here and say, like, that was such an impressive first movie that I'm like so psyched for the second one, which I am. This trailer was not great. Like, it was not a great trailer, and I think Cheetah looked really bad.
And I'm still not sold on the Kristen Wiig casting either. I just can't take her seriously. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we're wrong, obviously. But there's obviously going to be some janky CGI in there. There's no doubt. It's gonna. It reminded me a little bit of what we saw near the end of Black Panther, the way she was jumping around like that.
Well, I could see not much of a leap in logic there, but it just reminded me, which we'll talk about later on, the Snyder Cut. Like, the effects look so much better in that than they did in the movie when it came out, the Justice League movie. And it's like, why do the effects look so bad? I don't get it. Like these are professional companies, right? Like, come on.
It's post cleanup, man. It's like, it's how much time they want to spend in it, So So Wonder Woman happened, and then we had the Suicide Squad full cast reveal. I got home for that one in time, and Corey came over and we got to watch that. You know, had a little. It was pretty fun. We actually had a little con moment. You know, it was chaotic, kids around, but it's different moment for us. But hey, we got to have our con moment now, and it was kind of cool. Like we had chips and salsa, watch shows, and it was cool. Like you couldn't get away this year, so it's kind of I enjoyed having Corey come on over and we watched the panel.
Yeah,
and so Suicide Squad, James Gunn hosted, and they did it like a versus each other kind of Q&A, not Q&A, but question about their characters. But so they revealed the entire cast though of who each person is playing.
There were
Suicide
18
Squad.
actors on there, 18 actors.
I mean, Idris Elba is confirmed now to play Bloodsport, which I don't know who that is. John Cena is playing Peacemaker.
My guess is Pete Davidson dies first.
Yeah.
Well, it was hilarious in that panel because they did teams and they picked like the two captains picked the people they wanted on their team, and Pete Davidson was the last pick.
Yeah, yeah, he was.
And he's like, this feels just like high school.
Yeah, and he was the most effective on the questions. He was like, he got them all. He was ready to go with all of his answers. He was the most nerdy of the crew to actually answer the questions properly. But TDK, Nathan Fillion, that's a original character, I guess, right?
I don't think any of them are original. I think they're all from the comic.
I thought there were a couple originals.
I don't know.
Half these people are gonna die. Like
more than half. We talked about this. I think we may get 5 people that come out of this alive. Because you got Waller, you got Flag, Harley Quinn, and maybe Idris Elba. I don't even think he's safe.
No, but you can get 5 though. I think you get some Western.
I think we can get 5 or 6, maybe. But there's no way. I mean, you're definitely getting 50% of these people out.
I mean, Michael Rooker is
King
toast,
Shark.
Right?
Oh yeah,
Michael Rooker's toast. Yeah. So he plays Savant, and I did like their banter.
Man, he's dead. Oh, Boomerang will probably survive.
Boomerang's gonna survive. That's why we got to 5.
Yeah.
We got to 5 because of that, and maybe King Shark ultimate.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So,
I think at least one of the originals is gonna die.
I mean,
you could have like a Rick Flag or something. Like you can't kill Harley. Like because Rick Flag, Harley, and Waller.
She's invincible, but
and Jai
everyone else. Everyone else can die. Everyone else can die.
Yeah, they can. I don't know. The thing that I thought was interesting was that James Gunn said that this has the most explosions in any of his films combined. So I was like, okay, that's interesting.
The one thing I liked about this panel is I got a good vibe from James Gunn that he had a lot of fun with this movie. So I'm really my expectations now are Guardians 1. Like I really want to have that fun with this movie. That it's a high bar, but he said it by saying this, and I want to see something that fun. Like I want that. If I don't get that, it will be disappointed. Yes, but I'm sorry. That's what I'm expecting with James Gunn running this thing. I'm looking for a fun movie, and it better be fun and enjoyable, and a good soundtrack. Good soundtrack, please. Not like the first one. The first one had terrible soundtrack.
No, the music itself wasn't bad. It was just very distracting. The songs were too
in your face.
Big, they were bigger than the action maybe.
Well, and a lot of them were actually not paid for. They actually had third-party bands covering the songs.
Really?
They didn't pay for the actual right. Yes, you look it up the soundtrack. The music is not being played by whoever wrote the song. Like it's third-party, like cover bands.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. The cast. Here we'll go through real quick. Here, Jai Courtney, Captain Boomerang, Idris Elba, Bloodsport, Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn, John Cena, Peacemaker, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, Joel Kinnaman is Rick Flag, David Dashmalchian, Polka Dot Man, Daniela Melchior is Ratcatcher 2. They made sure that was constantly there. Steve Agee is King Shark as motion capture. Sean Gunn is Weasel. Motion capture. That's got his brother in there. Is it brother?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Flula Borg is Javelin. Nathan Fillion is TDK. Peter Capaldi, the Thinker. Good role for him.
Old doctor.
Pete Davidson, Blackguard. Alice Braga, Sol Soria, Meili NG, Ing. Is that how you say it? Ing? I don't want to screw up the pronunciation of her last name.
I think you're right.
Mei Ling Ying as Mongol. Michael Rooker as Savant. Storm Reed as Tyla. And Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt. And Juan Diego Bato as Luna. So it's a huge cast. we'll see. So, all right. Anything else to talk about with Suicide Squad?
Did they talk about their connected universe still? Like, are these connected to Wonder Woman 84?
They seriously have not mentioned.
I mean, other than the fact that Harley Quinn,
it.
Margot Robbie is in this, and like she was in the other couple movies already. That's really it. That's all I.
Like, is it confirmed that it's the same Harley, not like a different multiverse Harley or anything like that?
You know, considering we got these lesser actors back to play Rick Flag and Boomerang, I think, and Viola Davis as Waller, it's
but we didn't get Will Smith back.
Yeah, but it's
his character's not in it.
Deadshot. So.
Deadshot's not in this?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's
it's good for the DC.
It's still part of the universe, Tony, but I think that universe is not. It's
the
just
thing that
like,
they're
not going to talk about it.
Like not on the Flash panel a little bit is that you do have different like worlds. And was it the Flash TV panel? It wasn't even the Flash movie panel. It was the Flash TV panel.
Yeah.
They talk about
the Flash panel had like Jim Lee on it, which recently demoted Jim Lee, which was interesting because he's there and he's all happy. I'm like, he's got to be pretty pissed right now. But obviously, he didn't get a pay cut if he's still there.
Well, he's still got a job, so I'm sure he's happy about that.
But we had the Flash panel after that where they talked about the multiverse and how that it implements everybody, including this universe, like multiple universes, and like. How even like the Batman is going to be in its own universe, but it's, the Joker movie was in its own universe. It gives them like a deniability. It gives them like that whole out of, yes, it's still there, but is it the same universe?
Maybe. Yes. We don't know what we're doing. We're just going to throw things out there, see what sticks.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, after that, that's fine because their connected thing was shit. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm good with them just, like you said, doing what they seem to be doing better with, and that's their own isolated...
Honestly, though, like, we talked about this, though, the Snyder Cut really might throw a wrench in all this, and if it does really well, like, it could set DC back.
Next.
They can have their whole... The idea is they can have their whole group universe to the side and still make these individual movies, which was their original pivot.
That's the thing. We'll see. I mean, so we want to talk about Snyder Cut, Jim?
Yeah, Snyder Cut's next, so let's just do it. So we got their trailer. I didn't see the
leaked one was not fully rendered, but the one was.
No, I got to see actually the trailer, which was good. And so I didn't see the panel. Was there a panel for this? I didn't see it. I realized I didn't watch this panel. But
there was like a Q&A. That he kind of did with fans, and
it was revealed that this is going to be a 4-hour-long movie, by the way, just to start this off.
1 hour episodes.
It's 1 hour episodes with something special after each one, and then if you wanted to, you could have it all together and not see the things after. We don't know what the after each episode has. It's a surprise.
It
could be anything. Could be anything.
That's why I did this.
Mike's right though. If this does well, this could change things. Mike or Corey, we just said that, but it could change everything. This trailer.
We already see the pivot with Flash.
Mm-hmm. Sure. But what I'm saying is, I think if it does well, it's actually going to hurt DC's universe more because then they're really not going to know what they're going to want to do. Like
they've never known what they wanted to do.
Again, the whole idea with this Flash thing and that. Affleck's going to be back in it, which I'm jumping ahead a little, is they're giving themselves the option to continue that shared universe while all the other stuff they did, the solo stuff, which is their pivot that they may be going back on, is still available to them. So they can have that whole shared Suicide Squad, Justice League crap as one universe, and then the Batman and their standalone movies as other universes, and they'll be fine with that.
Yeah. And I think there will be because the other part of the Flash panel, we actually did have Ezra Miller on that panel with like Flashpoint they were talking about, which was his movie, which had a lot more concept stuff than shot yet, obviously, because it's early on. But we got to see Michael Keaton's Batman standing behind the Flash in a concept piece. So that's
real quick though, just the Snyder Cut. I just want to say that we actually did see a lot of new footage in that trailer, which was interesting.
I was impressed with the trailer. Like I was
and
impressed.
They totally redid. They redid Steppenwolf completely. Like I don't know if you noticed, but they're like, let's just redo him and just add a couple other characters.
He looked like garbage.
In the original, absolutely.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't think he looks great. I think he looks acceptable.
No, you can make comparisons to other characters, Tony, like you did, but he looks way better than he did in the first movie. The CG in that first movie was rushed; it wasn't done. Like, and that was a big problem.
But the movie was delayed, right? Justice League was delayed by a year.
Because they had to reshoot a bunch of shit for and get a new director and retone the whole thing. So
whatever, you guys can make excuses for him. That's fine.
I actually really like the trailer. I'll be definitely checking this out. And to not have the CG face for Henry Cavill instantly makes it look better. Like his face looks so much. It was just okay. That's his face, not the really bad CG of his face. So,
I mean, the one thing that you can say about Snyder is he can make really cool camera shots.
He can make a trailer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He should just be a professional.
Oh, he definitely can. I mean, he definitely sold us on Sucker Punch with his trailer. So the project,
I still love Ben Affleck, so Batfleck, he's my boy.
Which Ben Affleck now is rumored to be coming back.
Rumored he is coming back
for Flashpoint. I don't know. Is it confirmed for Flashpoint?
Well, for the Flash movie, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a cameo, but he'll be on it. He'll be in it.
Sure. So they're going to.
He was at air quotes the Fandome. I mean, he was there.
It's sent off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gets his goodbye. So the Snyder Cut will be reportedly cost upwards of $30 million to produce.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, what's that?
Is that okay? It's good. I guess.
Like I mentioned before, though, we had the Flash panel, which we were talking about earlier, and that did have that Flashpoint stuff with Michael Keaton standing behind Ezra Miller's Flash. Ezra Miller is going to be getting a better costume. It looked much better from what I saw. No more armor-plated crap. So that looks good. I did like that Flash panel quite a bit. So I'm a Flash fan. You guys know that.
Did Ezra Miller try to choke somebody?
Yeah. No, I have a problem with Ezra Miller himself, but I don't have a problem with this. No, I know. I just don't have a problem with what they're doing with his costume. I think it finally looks like the Flash. I don't know how he got off what he did, because he did try to choke that woman. But so I don't know. That's pending, I guess. Pending. Allegedly. That he choked that woman. But there's a video of it. But
I did not choke that woman.
That is not me.
It's clearly you.
Look at me, Ezra Miller.
Multiverse, man. Multiverse. Different universe.
Doppelganger.
Did anybody watch the Black Adam?
I did.
I saw that, and yeah, it looked like you beat the arcade mode in Injustice 2 for Black Adam.
Oh, absolutely. It was concept art. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They haven't filmed it yet. I mean.
Yeah, I know, but it was fully like that style. It was weird.
Yeah, slideshow concept.
I like concepts. Like I like how excited Rock is for it, and how that introducing Black Adam into the DC universe here and he alluded to this being part of that universe. Like this will affect Superman and the balance of power. So he talked about
Superman.
that.
He said multiple times Superman. Now I will say, remember we heard rumors about Cavill being reportedly on for 2 movies. This is a Cavill movie.
We'll see.
Doubt.
But they mention it, and so he's excited to shift the balance of power. So we'll see.
Yeah. That's not. Do you think that'll actually make December of 2021? I don't see how that will do that.
Did they finish shooting?
No.
They haven't even started.
Then no. There's no way. There's no.
Not with DC's history. There's no way.
It's still listed. I'm like, holy crap. So.
No way.
Yeah. And lastly, on the fandom, we finished with the Batman trailer.
Well, you did have Shazam sequel.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Shazam. Yeah.
But that's you can go quick through that. It's just
I didn't see the Shazam one. How was that?
It was just they just talked about the title. That was really it.
Oh, okay. So the Batman.
And this was my favorite thing for the entire I love this.
They say this for the end, and it was a good ending. This is how you finish. You finish in your strongest note, and I think that this was the strongest note for all day. All the trailers we saw, I thought this was the strongest trailer.
Trailer was awesome. Music in the trailer was awesome.
Only 25% of this movie was shot, and we got to see a trailer that was cut this good. That's very promising. Come on, guys, that's excellent.
No, absolutely, and like you kept saying, Jim, you gotta trust in Matt Reeves, and you weren't initially, but like I think you gotta buy in on Robert Pattinson now, right?
Yeah, the Pattinson, I'm all in on the Pattinson.
There you go.
It's all right.
Yeah. No, I'm
a little less sold on this, honestly. Like it was a good trailer, but
your opinion is wrong, Mike. No, I'm just kidding.
So the thing I know that Tony is gonna say is like, what are they doing that's new, right? What are they doing? That's new? And
here's the thing, and this is why I liked Batfleck's Batman in the way that I like an aged Batman. You know, one that had all this.
Mike,
I like something.
Wrong. I love Batfleck. And I was all about the Batfleck.
But
He's
no,
my boy.
like.
So if I could be Batfleck,
a Batman, why can't we've done like the year?
Everybody hold on.
The beginning of Batman forever. Then we skipped ahead to the end in Nolan from the.
Well, I think Mike, you froze there for a second, but I think
beginning to the end.
Wait a minute now. So, just so I know, Tony said, "What are they doing new for us?" Right? What are we getting?
I was going to address that in the moment.
I will address it right now because I'm going to address it by Mike's complaint. Is we had the old Batman, and tell me when we have not had an old Batman.
No,
there is one time. And that's right now.
No, because Batman Begins was a young Batman, and we saw all his forming stuff. We had the flashback. We had the flashback again with even the old Batman with Batfleck. We had the flashback again, and again we skipped all his entire group of sidekicks once again. Which I mean, I know that people hate them, but at this point, it's time to do the timeline a little bit, like you can have like those formative Batman years in the first few years, and then let's get a Robin, let's get another Robin, let's build forward, let's get to the end, like let's get an actor coming in at 30, get him to 50.
So everything you're arguing here for, Mike, is what we're kind of getting right now.
This is happening, Mike.
Yeah, okay.
No, I know that, but this is what they're trying to do right now, Mike. We're getting a younger actor. We're getting a younger character. The character's supposed to be a lot younger.
Year 2 for Batman. This is year 2, which we kind of like. We've explored that a little bit with the Batman Begins stuff and Dark Knight.
No, we didn't, because the Batman Begins spanned 5 years of his fucking career. I'm sorry, he went through birth and death. Like,
Batman Begins to Dark Knight. It was like very like once we've got past Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises was like that's such a waste. But what I'm saying is here, what I like here is that the Matt Reeves and what he talked about is like this is a very much a detective story, and like we really haven't seen that really yet. And I'm just going by what they're saying right now, and I think that's a great take for this Batman because we're gonna get to see, and we don't ever see the world's greatest detective Batman. Like we haven't seen that on screen, right? No. So like I think that would be really cool to see, and like using the Riddler. And the Riddler, like what we saw here, is very promising because the Riddler is such a weird character because he's so goofy and stupid in almost everything we've seen him in. But there are some Riddler stories that are really interesting, and they could be pulling from some of those. And then there's this overarching mystery of, they could be playing with some of the Court Owl stuff with some of these things and just how the ending was of that trailer. Like I think it's very exciting.
I think it's Hush. That's my overarching villain. Behind the scenes with the strings is Hush.
I don't know if you do Hush right now. I like that.
But that's new. We haven't seen that again. Like we're going with stuff we haven't seen, guys.
Well, we haven't seen Court Owls either.
I mean, those are specific. You guys are talking about specific storylines, though. I'm talking about like what are they going to do new with the character? Like, do I have to watch? Do I have to watch Thomas and Martha Wayne die?
Well, it's year 2. I hope not. If it's in year 2.
But they didn't.
Yeah, more than likely.
You probably will. That's the thing. Like,
he wants that.
This is the third Batman actor we're gonna get in like a 8-year span, kind of. And I'm just like, I could wait longer for a Batman movie at this point. I don't need to see his like early years again. Like, I don't.
2012, Yeah, I mean, we're getting
here's the thing I would say is if they would just come out and say like, hey, we're in with Pattinson for the long haul. Like we've signed like a 6-movie deal with him. It's going to be a trilogy and potential other things. I'd be like, okay, like that could be interesting because we're going to be this building up of the universe and the character and stuff like that. But like as of now, like I just got to treat it like, hey, if it's a one shot and it's successful, yeah, they'll probably make a sequel. And if not, or it might just be one of the arguments, like just one movie and then just forget it. Like I just can't get excited about that. I'll watch it,
I get that,
but I can't be excited about that. And I'll mention specifically, it's not DC, but when they did Spider-Man Far From Homecoming, I was like, oh look, we got a teenage Peter Parker. That's interesting because we haven't explored that in the movieverse really, because Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man started out and then he was just fucking total dick. And they just did new things with the character. Like not everybody was initially onto like the apprentice to Iron Man, but I think that's cool because that's a unique thing. It's not pulled, from the movieverse, or I'm sure there might have been one storyline that I never read, in the comics, stuff like that. But that's interesting. What are they doing with the Batman? If they're going the detective angle, yeah, okay, you know what? I'm excited. The trailer was good. Don't get me wrong. The trailer was good, but I didn't see that detective stuff really. Like they sprinkled the little hints of the mystery and stuff, but I want to see the detective stuff.
I can understand what you're saying.
That's fair enough. Yes.
What I'm hoping, because obviously again this is 25% of the movie and they sliced the trailer together. Yeah. So we and again we can't really judge it until we've seen the final product. Trailers mean nothing really, as we saw with Sucker Punch. That shit.
I do think
the tone of the film so far, I really I like that, and the mist and the fact like Batman, we don't see him walking around in public that often. Like he's always in the shadows, and here in this trailer alone, he's already walking around with the cops. Like
you see more cops in one room than ever before.
They know him, and that he's just like there. Gordon and him already have a relationship, and you're gonna get a guy who's, I feel like, because it is year two, still not necessarily an origin story, but someone who is still coming into his own, which I think is going to be interesting.
A changing costume.
I don't know.
And I really liked the vengeance part. Like,
I mean, the callback.
Everybody when they saw that had to like love that, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I didn't explain that, but
I love brutal Batman. Come on,
like what were you saying?
But I do think in like the general zeitgeist, there's a few characters more covered, especially in the early days. Like everyone has seen his early days again in the recent movies and stuff, and I just feel like we all know that, and I kind of want to age up the character with the general public's knowledge of him. Like, what's next? Like, even though everything isn't necessarily related, I kind of want to see what's next for the character. I would be more interested in continuing more of a 40-plus-year-old Batman story.
The Batfleck?
Yeah, honestly, even though he's all fucked up and Snyder has him as, like, a Watchmen character. But that idea was more interesting to me. So an aged Batman, something where the general public has already a vague knowledge of his history, and then do something new going forward. Maybe leading into a Batman Beyond storyline, even a younger version of that, maybe. But I don't know, to just start over again. It's just like, okay, we had this, but I guess it's a different Bat. I mean, I don't know. It sort of distills.
I like that. I like the take that they're taking, like a different approach to.
It is infinitely better, and this is infinitely better than the Batfleck.
It a little bit.
It is infinitely better.
It's not infinitely better.
Yes. 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 It is infinitely better.
You guys didn't tell me I needed to bring popcorn to this podcast.
He is not going to shoot.
Oh, it's a movie cast, Tony. Please.
He's
this is the show for me, right?
I mean,
he's not going to shoot.
Like, that's the other thing. He still looks like Daredevil. In and out of the mask.
But that's not an insult.
Oh, by the way, his costume is fantastic. The Batman costume is really good.
Yes.
I like the chest because it looks like Arkham. I'm still not completely sold on the cowl, but maybe it'll look better.
Look,
And I do like the fact that the eye black makeup stuff is on his face when he takes off his mask.
Because
everyone just like takes it off.
Knew this already before. Everyone knew that was part of it before, but they always pretended like it was.
Maybe the mask had the like makeup wipes, so like when he pulled it off, the wipes just like went
like tie that into some commercial for.
I just like how they embrace it. So
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'll watch it. We'll watch.
No, I mean, I'm interested in it for sure, but I could wait like 4 years for this movie, honestly, myself.
I mean, we might have to. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, did they give a?
Now, but who knows?
Did they give a projected date?
2021.
2021 still. Yeah, he's confident in that date, but I'm just like,
they finished shooting that?
They just started
filming.
Well, they had 25 shots.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
So I mean, they just started refilming.
If they don't have a lot of like heavy CGI, I could see it being done, but
it's practical effects.
If it's Detective Batman, then there wouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that means we don't get a bat tank and him mowing down people with machine guns.
Yeah, that's. I have full confidence we are not
getting it out of the junkyard. So
if we get
should be in Fast and Furious, it look like.
Like I would be blown away if we get something like that. We will not get that. I would bank.
Get what, Jim?
Put it in the bank. A shooting Batman.
A shooting Batman?
Guns ablaze.
What if his chest piece though is a gun and he takes it out? And
All right.
The bat symbol, then.
All right. Let's wrap up.
And I also have to say I love the music in the trailer, and I love how the bat like logo came in and had the A because the kind of the horns or whatever. That was really cool. I thought that was fantastic.
Yep. So good event overall. I enjoyed it. Hopefully we see Marvel doing something like this soon. This would be cool. Because you can have the same fun with them, I'm sure. So, all right. That's gonna wrap up 509 in the Moviecast. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe and the like button. We appreciate it. See you guys next week.